Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Film Feast. Ketchup edition. Food puns. I'm fucking full of them. It's almost been a full month since I brought you guys film news of any kind, but I wanted to go back in time, even though you've probably heard about most of these stories and know all the details about them. I wanted to talk about them myself, because that's what vlogging's all about, putting my opinion out there and you listening very willingly. Thank you for that, by the way. It's going to take me some time to get back into the swing of things, especially because I'm not really getting back into the swing of things. The Film Feast is moving to a story-by-story basis, and all of these videos are going to be separate events. Although I will be condensing stories that have developed over the past couple of weeks, because I don't want to make video after video about basically the same topic. And that's where we come to the main topic of this episode: Zack Snyder and the road to the Justice League movie. Right on the tail of the news that Ray Fisher would be joining the Batman vs. Superman film as Cyborg, it was announced by the Wall Street Journal that Zack Snyder will direct the Justice League movie. I was about 25% surprised by this news, but mostly by the Zack Snyder portion. I figured he would have some hand at least in producing the Justice League movie, but being its full-fledged director was a bit of a surprise to me, although it makes sense. WB wants to hold on to Zack Snyder, so at least they'll have the consistency from Man of Steel to Batman vs. Superman to the Justice League. I wasn't crazy about Man of Steel, and I can't say I'm looking forward to Batman vs. Superman, now called Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, but I'll get to that in a moment. And this Justice League movie, we'll see what happens. Batman vs. Superman will be the film that lays the groundwork for the Justice League movie, so it's important to keep an eye on that film as much as I don't want to. And that leads me to my next point. In the air of my ambivalence surrounding Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, there is one thing about it that I am excited for: Ben Affleck as Batman. The news of his casting sparked a lot of vitriol around the internet, and I don't really understand it, but fair, people can dislike Ben Affleck for whatever weird reason they want. But then the photo was released of Ben Affleck in costume as Batman for this new film, and I really like the costume. I don't consider myself a huge Batman fan, but I do like what Zack Snyder, the costumers, and designers have done for this Batsuit. They've ditched most of the utilitarian aspects of it. Everything that Christopher Nolan did for the Batsuit to make it look actually useful is gone. And I kind of dig that. Yes, the utility belt is still there. I mean, he's got to have his tools. He's Batman, for goodness sake. But a lot of the believable, real-world elements are done away with, which some people might complain about, but I don't really have a problem with it. I like the fact that they're going for a little bit more weird than real. And the Batmobile, while there's not too much to see, looks a little bit more like a return to form from the earlier films, but also using some of the elements of Christopher Nolan's Tumbler. So that reveal was a good step forward. But as I figured, Snyder and his team and WB couldn't let the title Batman vs. Superman stay the way it was. They had to add the subtitle Dawn of Justice, and a lot of people have turned against it, myself sort of included, but I like to think that I have fairly good reasoning behind it. I just don't like the title. It's not a good movie title. I mean, Batman vs. Superman alone didn't work because it seemed empty. I mean, yeah, it's Batman versus Superman, but what does that mean? I mean, how does that doesn't work as a follow-up to Man of Steel. There was Man of Steel, and then there was Batman versus Superman? And then to add on the ho-hum subtitle of Dawn of Justice really shows that WB just doesn't understand what they're doing anymore. Let's just state the obvious here. Warner Brothers really, really wants an Avengers-sized success. And part of me feels like they will actually get it, but it won't be earned at all. They simply don't understand their brand, and instead of giving each character a singular film or television series to incubate and really grow and connect with an audience, they just want to push and push and push and push. That's why this new Batman isn't getting his own film, and that's why Wonder Woman isn't getting her own film. I wouldn't be surprised if they straight up rebooted Green Lantern in the Justice League movie. And where will all of those Justice League members even come from? So far we only have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg. Now granted, those first three are the triumvirate. You know, you can't have a Justice League movie without those three. But you also need to round out the group a little bit more than that. So, with production underway in Detroit for Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, it's only a matter of time before we hear more news about the Justice League. We can theorize all we want, but it's really only in the hands of Zack Snyder. If he can pull off a decent film with Batman vs. Superman, then we might have something with the Justice League movie. But for now, I'm just sitting in this ball of uncertainty mixed with apathy. I can't even get excited for this movie yet because it's so far away. May 6th, 2016? But I will say this. I changed my mind, and I think that Captain America 3 will back down from that release date, just because of all the stuff that Warner Brothers has been putting out there. I mean, they've been flooding the news market with it. They're just like, hey guys, look at all this cool stuff that Zack Snyder's doing with our IPs, which actually sounds kind of naughty. Okay, so that's a weight off my shoulders. I'm finally caught up on all the stupid Zack Snyder Justice League Batman vs. Superman stuff. And, you know, with my luck, there will probably be more news about it tomorrow. Fuck. So what do you guys think about all of this news? You know, Zack Snyder directing Justice League, the new title for Batman vs. Superman, you know, Dawn of Justice, and the new bat suit. What about that? Yeah, I mean, are you guys excited for that? Do you share my happiness with the fact that they've just fucking thrown away all of Nolan's designs and just said, look, we're doing this Batman? Talk about it all in the comments below. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and check out my Letterboxd page because I've actually been watching more movies, and that's really nice. And stay tuned for the next episode of The Film Feast, where I will be talking about Marvel's Netflix Daredevil series. See you there. Yeah?
Ha! Ah, yes, it's good to be back. I am doing a forced accent, as you can probably tell. But seriously, it's good to be back. Good to be editing again. It's been weeks, and now that I have this new computer with all this new power behind it, I can make that happen. How did you feel about this first new approach at the Film Feast? Now, I'm obviously going to try and make each episode better than the last, but that's not always going to be the case. Some stories just aren't as juicy as others. But it's all about how I present the information, and I will strive to make everything educational and entertaining, in the least you're going to get the news. There might be some nights where I'm just like, oh, and this happened, and I'm just tired, and I just can't wait to go to sleep. But hopefully there won't be too many of those. Finally, I'd like to thank my good friend, Griffin Prall, for all the illustrations in this episode. Griffin also put together my opening animation, which took him several hours, and I cannot thank him enough for all the work that he's done for my show thus far, and in the future. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and expect some more videos in the coming days.